Hey everyone, welcome to How to Start a Business in Dubai. My name is Jamelia Greer, and I am here today to walk you through the exact steps and everything really that you need to know from an overview level about how to start a business in Dubai legally and confidently. So, what if I told you that Dubai isn't just a luxury destination? It's also a place that you can set up a business, you can establish financial freedom, and you can gain residency even. So, today I'm going to talk to you about all of that. And before I begin, I want to introduce myself. I mean, essentially, I'm someone that transitioned out of corporate life as a lawyer. I practiced law for 15 years before I started my business in Dubai. And really now these days, in addition to writing books and doing coaching and consulting, I help other people just like you set up businesses legally and confidently here in Dubai. So a bit more about my background. I'm from the US, as you probably can tell. I've lived and worked in China, in Singapore, and now in Dubai. And I've practiced law and I've led large teams of lawyers for some pretty big multinational companies, such as Marriott International, Standard Chartered Bank, and what is now known as Raytheon Technologies. So, after doing that for 15 years, I decided that it was time to do something for me. And what I really wanted to set up was something in my life where I could have a business that the purpose actually resonated with me and it was financially profitable and it was something that I could take with me wherever I went around the world. And I also wanted to have residency as well. So let me walk through exactly how you can do the same thing. So, why Dubai? First thing, I think it's important to note that Dubai has changed so much over the past 10 years, even more so over the past 20 years. But it is strategically located in the Middle East, and it's sort of like midway between the East and West. A lot of professionals that live and work here say that when you want to have calls back to the US or you need to call Asia, it's a good time zone because you're not going to be too late or too early as opposed to some other places in the world where it would be more challenging to connect with your clients. I also think this is for the non-Americans, but the fact that there is no personal income tax here is a huge benefit. Americans, of course, you're taxed on your income wherever you go in the world, but there are still some tax benefits to setting up here in Dubai. But for sure, for people from other countries, not having a personal income tax is a huge benefit. Next, why Dubai? The free zones here allow you, as a foreigner, as somebody who was not born here, to own 100% of the legal entity. That means you don't need a local sponsor. You can set up your business and be the sole shareholder of that company. And then I think what's super important now in the world today is that there's political stability here in Dubai. There's a lot of things going on in the world, and for better or for worse, Dubai is one of the places where it has not changed politically. It has remained the same, and that has opened the door for a number of key industries really to set up here and to grow. So, technology and innovation is huge in Dubai, as you can see by searching up Dubai Internet City. There's also a Web3 and AI campus here in Dubai. There's so many things I can go on and on. But the government has really prioritized expanding and rolling out growth for technology and innovation. Fintech is also big in Dubai. As you transition away from the technology towards the financial services, there are a number of banks that have their regional headquarters here. And then also, fintech companies, organizations are here and taking full advantage of the free zones. And I could go on about e-commerce and logistics as well, but the point is that there's a number of industries here that are key, and you should really think about that in terms of what kind of business is it that you want to start. Now, what do these industries look like? I think it's really important as an entrepreneur or someone who's thinking about starting a business somewhere to look into what are the numbers, right? So the numbers are really important. We know that 9% of Dubai's GDP comes from SMEs. That's small and medium enterprises. So those are mom and pop shops. 9% is pretty big, right? When you look at the overall economy and you look at how much Dubai is really bringing in 2022, the GDP was 508 billion. So we're talking about a $5 billion, that's US dollars, from small and medium businesses, which is huge for an emirate. We're not even talking about a whole entire country, right? Remember, Dubai is one of the emirates in the United Arab Emirates. And so that's what the landscape looks like here in terms of numbers. And you can see on the slide, the tech sector makes up a huge portion, that's 13%. Digital economy right now is huge. We have a number of people who come in to set up businesses that are independent location, so location independent. So that means that they are working in terms of setting up digital businesses. And so I've helped clients set those up as well, and that seems to be something that works out quite well for people depending on their circumstances. So, what are the mistakes that entrepreneurs make? Everybody wants to talk about coming to Dubai to set up, but it's not so easy. And there are some mistakes that people make that you really should not do. And I'm going to walk you through some of them. Here are a few. First, cultural misconception. Look, whenever you move to a new country, you're going to notice that there is a difference between your home country's culture and the host country's culture. A lot of people think that coming to Dubai, that it's going to be a huge cultural gap, and in some ways it is, but in some ways it isn't. I can tell you for sure that networking is super important here. Relationships, or what they call wasta, is really important. So it's important to prioritize relationships, and then the business will come following that. And you rarely see people who are successful here that don't have community or don't have relationships. I would even say not just rarely, just never. It just doesn't happen, right? It has to be there. In America, in the US, maybe relationships are not as important, right? You could probably be a little bit solo and then produce something and get funding and go big. But here, you really do need the relationships. Secondly, income gap dynamics. When you're looking at your target market for Dubai, maybe you have a service or a good that's targeted towards women who make a certain income. You need to also factor in that there are huge income gaps here. You have super high net worth individuals and then people who are way below that. And so it's important to understand how to position your product or service to make sure that you are hitting the target audience that you want, and to understand the breakdown of the income sectors here in Dubai. Networking nuances. I did talk about this a little bit just now. Networking is important, but you also should think about the quality of networking. And this goes for really anywhere in the world. But common mistakes that entrepreneurs make is they come here and they think it's great to be friends with everybody, and they end up getting taken advantage of or scammed, or they lose money somehow by placing too much trust on a relationship. And so while it's important to have trust, you have to build it gradually and you have to take your time, and please, please, please do due diligence. Okay, so what are some solutions to these? As I mentioned at the start, I work with entrepreneurs all the time who want to come here and start businesses. So I help them do that in a way where they avoid all the mistakes that I may have made when I first came to Dubai and started out, and they hit the ground running. Okay, so some solutions that I offer, the business basics. Of course, if it's your first time starting a business, you're going to want to make sure that you understand the basics of what does it mean to be the sole shareholder? How do you set up the company, right? What are the legal and compliance obligations that you have? And so on and so forth. And also with networking, which I'll talk about soon. So, how do I help people who want to move to Dubai and set up a business? I have group coaching. We're actually having another cohort in May of 2025. We typically have these cohorts several times a year, so it's important to check the website at the link I'll put in the description below to see when the next cohort is. I also offer premium one-on-one coaching / consulting, where I work with you to set up the business with you. We do this in a very project-based way to make sure that we go from idea to you're already operating. A lot of times, and what I've seen is that this is best for people who are not currently in Dubai, but they want to move here. So the best thing to do is to start before you move so that when you arrive, things are already running. And there's a way to do that. And I work with people all the time to get that set up. Networking as well with my clients, I bring you into the fold of ByteBow and then my network as well. We have some really great corporate partners. And of course, just my network of being a lawyer for over 15 years around the world. Kind of know how to get you in touch with the right people, particularly if you're working in tech. And so the networking piece is really important. We want to make sure that you can have those important conversations before you arrive in Dubai. And then, of course, consulting. Sometimes businesses are already set up and they're already operating. They just need a legal hat or a strategic business advisor. And I do that as well. So, what is the next step? As I mentioned, if you're watching this before May 2025, you can get on the wait list for the May cohort, but there are other cohorts. So, be sure to check the website in the link below to make sure that the next one is at a time that's suitable for you. You can also have a discovery call with me. If you watch this video and you still have questions, do not hesitate to drop me a note. You can email me at hello@jamiliagreer.com. Ask for a call. I'll send you a link. We'll jump on a call and I can explain to you the process. There are limited spots available for the group coaching. And so, what I want to do with anyone that I work with is to make sure you get that quality attention. So, we do cap out the number of slots on the group coaching. So, if you are interested in that, make sure that you apply or register for the wait list early on to ensure your slot. And then finally, we do have a WhatsApp community that we're just now rolling out. And hopefully, by the time you see this video, we'll be much more developed and active. But if you're interested in that, I'll put the link for that below as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this answered your questions about how to start a business in Dubai with confidence. I went through some of the common mistakes that entrepreneurs make and how we help them get past that. I'm a firm believer that business is not just about selling, it's about relationships. It's also about cultural understanding if you're moving to a new country. So I encourage you to get help and support in launching your business in Dubai. Take care.